In the beginning of the story, we see a scene where Kim Yo-han is being chased by a group of men and ultimately gets caught by their leader. However, Yo-han is able to defeat the leader in a physical fight by using a wada card as a weapon. The story then jumps back to a year earlier, where Yo-han is shown participating in a high-stakes wada card game and winning a large sum of money due to his ability to maintain a poker face. It is revealed that Yo-han is actually an undercover judicial apprentice who was tasked with investigating the illegal activities of the gambling den owner. He successfully exposes the owner as a fraud and the police arrive to arrest them. The story then jumps back 1 month earlier, where it is revealed that Yo-han was recruited by the director of the Judicial Training Institute to participate in an undercover investigation into the corrupt dealings between Chairman Young, Chief Prosecutor Hong Sang-wook, and his son Hong Jae-sun. However, this undercover investigation is illegal and carries significant risks. Yo-han has a tragic past, as his father was often absent due to his work as a prosecutor and gave Yo-han a wristwatch as a memento. Yo-han now lives a simple life and sees the opportunity to participate in the undercover investigation as a chance to advance his career, despite the lack of privilege or connections he has. However, the investigation becomes more dangerous when Yo-han's fellow undercover partner suggests that he go to prison to obtain evidence from an inmate. While Yo-han is considering this suggestion, he is abducted and wakes up strapped to a dental chair, being threatened by the gambling den owner who wants revenge and knows where Yo-han's grandmother lives. Young Kook is abducted and attacked while sitting in his car. Jin Hyun later shows Yo-han a list of call logs, revealing that all of the missing colleagues, including Young Kook, received a call from the same number. This number belongs to Prosecutor Yoon Byung-wook, who specializes in catching wealthy chaebols evading taxes and is involved with Chief Prosecutor Hong. Byung-wook received a text with the names of people trying to take down the Central Investigation Division, but it is not yet clear who the mole amongst them is. Young Kook's death motivates Yo-han to go to prison and uncover the truth, as he and Jin Hyun want to expose the corruption that led to the cover-up of mistakes following Yo-han's father's death. Byung-wook quickly realizes what is happening and offers to waive Yo-han's prison sentence and reinstate him as a judicial trainee if he confesses the truth, but Yo-han dismissively responds by asking Byung-wook to repeat himself. Byung-wook is able to intimidate Jin Hyun and threatens to expose their illegal undercover operation. As a result, Jin Hyun deletes Yo-han's file from the database, effectively abandoning Yo-han and leaving him to face the consequences alone. While in prison, Yo-han is confronted by the gambling den gangsters, who demand that he pay them 1 million won per week or else his grandmother's mart and her life will be in danger. Yo-han tries to defend himself, but is overpowered and beaten up. The gangsters then ask the leader of Yo-han's cell, Song Do-chol, to send Yo-han to the kitchen to pay his debts. However, Do-chol is actually part of the same gang as the gambling den owner and plans to protect Yo-han. Do-chol offers to protect Yo-han from the gambling den gangsters in exchange for his help in spying on Jang Sun-oh, the top inmate in the prison who has connections with the guards. Meanwhile, Soo-yeon investigates Yo-han's involvement in the gambling den and comes to the aid of Yo-han's grandmother. She arranges a phone call between Yo-han and his grandmother and urges him to pay back his debts for her sake. Yo-han agrees to Do-chol's deal in order to protect his grandmother and begins his second undercover operation in the prison. Gil-sang, one of Do-chol's henchmen, reveals to Yo-han that the prison wardens actually run an illegal gambling den and that the prisoners must rise through the ranks to reach the top. Yo-han begins at the bottom rank of the prison's gambling den, where bets are placed using cigarettes. He initially does well in a modified game of Texas Hold'em, but begins to suspect cheating and struggles in his subsequent games. He ends up in solitary confinement after a scuffle with the gambling den gangsters, during which a prisoner in the next cell offers to teach him gambling tips. Yo-han refuses and is later granted special leave to attend his grandmother's funeral, which has been ruled a suicide. However, Yo-han believes it was murder and suspects Jae-sun, as only he and the gambling den owner knew about a land ownership deed that was found in his grandmother's mouth. When Yo-han confronts Jae-sun about his grandmother's death, Jae-sun admits to it without remorse and blames Yo-han for her death. Yo-han becomes enraged and attacks Jae-sun, but is pulled off by Jin-hyung. The conversation with Jin-hyung leads Yo-han to realize that he has been abandoned by those he was working with. Despite this, Yo-han remains determined to continue the investigation and vows to take down Hong Jae-sun, Mok Jin-hyung, Yoon Byung-wook, and the murderer who killed his grandmother by his own hands. In order to achieve this, he decides to accept the offer from the neighboring inmate to teach him how to gamble. Yo-han learns how to gamble from the mysterious inmate in the next cell. And by the end of his time in solitary confinement, he is confident in his ability to recoup his previous losses. He approaches Du-chul and asks for one more chance to fulfill his end of their deal. Du-chul grants it, and Yo-han is successful in his first game. He uses the cigarettes he won to pay off his debt to the gambling den gangsters, but they mock him until Du-chul's henchmen come in to defend him and take revenge on the gangsters. Yo-han now has the support of Du-chul and his henchmen as he continues his investigation. Yo-han has not yet been promoted to the top league, which causes Du-chul to try to accelerate the process. However, Yo-han ends up injuring his ankle and is sent to the infirmary, where he secretly enters Sunoa's room. He is caught by Sunoa's subordinates and brought to face Suno, who challenges Yo-han to a game where they must answer questions truthfully and try to guess the card on the other's forehead. If they fail, they will be electrocuted. Yo-han correctly guesses Sunoa's card, but Suno gains the upper hand through psychological manipulation. As Suno tries to strangle Yo-han, Yo-han pretends to be dead, allowing him to grab the cable and electrocute both of them. After Yo-han wakes up, he is told that he has a VIP visitor and is taken to a luxurious suite in the Shinseondong wing of the prison. There, he finds Soo-yeon waiting for him. She questions him and reveals that she knows his target at the gambling den was Chairman Yang. She offers to help him, but it becomes clear that Yo-han knows more than he has let on. He had noticed Soo-yeon doing some covert investigation at the gambling den as well. Yo-han accepts Soo-yeon's offer and she uses her connections to help him find out the identity of his mysterious neighbor. To Yo-han's surprise, the inmate is not Lee Tae-kwang, the person with the video evidence Yo-han is looking for, but rather one of Sunoa's subordinates. Yo-han finds out that the mysterious inmate is one of Sunoa's subordinates, Ryu Tae-hoon, who saves Yo-han from further injury. Tae-hoon advises Yo-han to get a powerful sponsor to bypass Suno and move up in the leagues, and introduces Yo-han to the security manager, who becomes his sponsor and allows him to enter the second league. Suno acts like he holds a grudge against Yo-han, but secretly helps him by signaling the other players' hands during a game. Yo-han is confused by Sunoa's motives, but decides to trust him and wins the game, though not without a scare when Suno lies about the last card. Suno the electrocution incident was just a test of Yo-han's trustworthiness and reveals his ambition to become the leader of the gambling scene with the support of prosecutors and police. He sees Yo-han as a potential ally in achieving this goal. Yo-han's quick to accept, and Suno has him moved into the infirmary, under the pretense of having hyperthyroidism. Yo-han gets his own private room, along with a housewarming gift from Suno. That turns out to be Tae-kwang, who's lost control over his motor functions ever since someone slipped detergent into his food. Suno does make casual mention of there being a USB among Tae-kwang's belongings though, which must be where the video is. Yo-han's alliance with Suno isn't without consequence, and Du-chul offers to cut yet another deal with Yo-han. Stab Suno in the back, quite literally, and he'll pay off all of Yo-han's debt. Instead, Yo-han remains staunchly on Sunoa's side, and reveals that he's aware of Du-chul's ulterior motive. He wants to use him to eliminate Suno, then he'll get rid of him. Yo-han finds out about the plan to kill him when Sung-hwan warns him, having overheard Du-chul's plans. To protect themselves, Yo-han and Suno cover their bodies with plaster casts and Yo-han bribes the security manager with most of his earnings. They are able to defeat Du-chul and his men and emerge victorious. Now that Yo-han is officially on their side, Suno takes him to meet their number 2, who turns out to be Sung-hwan, who can speak and was caught for embezzlement. He is skilled at scamming and had successfully convinced everyone that he was deaf. Soo-yeon convinces Yo-han to help her with her plan to take over Songju prison. She brings Yo-han a video showing Jin-hyung, Yo-han's superior, staging his grandmother's suicide. Yo-han confronts Jin-hyung and exposes his lies. Jin-hyung tries to leave, and Yo-han follows him, but a scalpel falls from Jin-hyung's pocket. In a fit of rage, Yo-han grabs the scalpel and stabs Jin-hyung in the neck, only realizing what he has done when he sees the blood on his face. Thanks for watching the recap of the Korean drama Insider episodes 1 to 4. If you liked this drama, make sure to like other recaps also. You can watch this full drama from the link in the description. Until then, stay safe, stay otaku.